Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind, these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are after market close on Wednesday, December 29th. We're going to take a look at SoFi. So SoFi peeling back a bit yesterday and today. Now, yesterday we were down over 3.5%. I didn't make a video because my feeling was, nothing had really changed. And to be honest, I don't feel that anything has materially changed today, but I thought, being down 3.5% yesterday and 2.5% today, it's probably worth popping in and making a bit of a video. So my take on this recent movement has been that we're consolidating out of this channel, and like I said, I think that we are likely to bounce around between a couple of areas, this 1402 to 1557, or the mid 14s to the mid 15s, like I said a few videos back. Now we're continuing to do that, and I know it's annoying when we reject off of this 1557 range and then start peeling back toward the mid 14s or even down to test that 1402, which certainly could happen. The fintech space is certainly not in sort of the most sunshiniest of places in the current market condition, and that's just the case. But to me, this is still putting in a consolidation movement, and we might see it develop some sort of an uptrend here, some sort of an up channel here. Now that it's putting in half a dozen or so candles in this movement, but to me it's still sort of like a waiting game. The video that I put out a couple of days ago was, and now we wait, right? That was the thumbnail on the video. And I still think that that's very much the case. So for me, I'm still waiting and watching and looking to see what's going to happen. Now, if we want to pull in some indicators while we're here, not only was it rejecting off of that 1557 level, but it was rejecting off of that 12 EMA. And that was when I put out the video about the, SoFi getting into key areas in terms of price action, was because it was trying to brush up against that 1557, but also wrestle, as I had said, with that 12 EMA. Now it's lost that wrestling match for the time being, and that's just the case. But these other EMAs are falling nicely in line with some of the other resistance levels that we see, and I like that because even though it can sort of make those levels more resistant when you get to them, meaning it could reject harder off of them like we're seeing here at the moment, at least it sort of like limits the number of places in which you're going to consistently hit resistance. One of the harder things when you're trying to build a base or reverse a trend is if you just you get continuous pushback, because you hit a resistance level here that's because of previous price action, and then you immediately hit another level because an EMA is there, and then you hit another price action resistance level, and then you hit two more EMAs, right? And these things are just like 10, 20, 50 cents apart. That can be really, really hard, in my opinion. I think it's better to be able to identify, hey, right here, these are both situated right in this mid 16 range, so that's going to be a really challenging area. So that might reject hard off of there. So if you're doing any sort of swing trading or day trading or shorter term positioning, you might just know that it could likely reject hard off of there, and you could position yourself accordingly. Now, just because those elements of the price action are there and those indicators in the chart are there, it doesn't mean it's a guarantee, but everything that we do is to try to set ourselves up to have a slightly better than chance flip of a coin opportunity to figure out where the price action might be headed. So this is just to say that. Now to the downside, like I said, we have 1402. If it can't hold that for some reason, we have 1355. If it really flips 1402 from support to resistance, which is not this, right? This dipped down to 1366, but this was just a single candle, and it was handily over this 1402 level the entire time leading up to that candle. It was just the wick of the candle. The body finished above the 1402, and then we put in several days above the 1402. So to me, that's not losing that support level. That's sort of the price action rejecting being down below that level. Where I would be concerned is if it drops below 1402 and then turns it into resistance. It tries to come back, right? This would be the instance where the wick came down and then it tried to go back and it rejected off of it and then came back down toward the 1355. Then I'd say, okay, we are definitely looking at $13 levels here, and we're gonna have to see if 1355 holds, and if not, see if 1308 will hold. But we're not in that area yet. But this is just to say, if we lose it and flip it, then that's what I would be looking at. But for the time being, I'm still looking at 1402 to 1557. More ideally, mid 14s, right about where we are right now, to mid 15s. So if that would tend to be the case, then that would indicate, we would need a green day tomorrow in order to like solidify our space, that being our base for the time being. So still a bit TBD. All of this is just sort of unfolding. So this is me just trying to like unpack an evolving picture, but nothing is super clear at the moment in my mind. And I'm hoping that we're putting in a range here and building a base, because then we can spot the next movement, right? And just to be super clear, and I know that I keep repeating this, but I feel like sometimes people don't hear this. Just because we're putting in a range, putting in a base, does not mean that the bottom is in, does not mean that it's the floor. And when I say that, it allows us to catch the next movement when it breaks the range, that could be to the downside, okay? That's what I'm talking about if it flips 1402 from support to resistance. That to me is a range break, and that indicates the next move is down. And so just keep that in mind. Building a base does not equal the floor, does not equal the bottom is in, does not equal trend reversal is imminent, okay? Just to be super clear about that. I don't want to be bearish. That's not my intent, and I don't think that I am. But I feel people really, really misinterpret things sometimes. Anyway, RSI continuing to just, be super close to oversold, as you would imagine, and really waiting for it to test the 50 range, which I keep talking about, and see what it does if and when it approaches 50. And don't even have the MACD here at the moment, so let me pull up the MACD. And my indicators have been all askew. I got Bollinger Bands in there for some reason. I don't know why, but I don't really use them. But anyway, MACD crossover still in play, though it's curling back down a little bit. But we'll just have to see. But it's situated really, really, pretty far below the baseline at the moment. So could it turn down more? Of course, any stock could go lower, but it's in a situation where if it wanted to throw a bullish crossover and start to move up toward the baseline, it's really well positioned for that. But just kind of, like I said, sitting and waiting and seeing what it's doing. Sorry for all the screaming. It is a special place these days, especially with kids being off of school for the holidays. So, intraday, stuck under the VWAP. A nice single test here. Well, I guess you could say that this was a test and rejection, but a nice second test here, and immediately grabbed and confirmed, and then kind of wrestled with the 180 MA most of the day. So that's why I like to keep that there. I think that it's typically, or can often be, very relevant. And it just kind of pinned itself to that for most of the day, came back and retested the VWAP, into close, and that's often when I presume algos are taking out a bunch of buy and sell orders. I can't prove it, but but that's always my suspicion when I see that sort of thing happen, and especially this sort of like choppiness throughout the day. But yeah, I mean, today was just the plague of getting off to a really red start and then recovering some, but still being stuck with a pretty red day because the sell-off at open was so strong. But to me, like I said, my mind is still waiting to see what happens with this movement, and not really concerned that we're looking at another leg down until we flip that 1402 from support to resistance, which again, could happen. Just keep that in mind. All right, folks, I hope your trading week is going well, and then I hope that you're able to finish it off strong in the days ahead, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.